Okay, so today we're gonna dive into something kind of different.
Yeah.
It's this pastoral reflection
Okay.
by Pastor Jeong called "The Meaning of a Scar," and it's really interesting. At least I thought so, because it all started with something really personal.
Mm.
His wife tore her ACL.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, on Christmas Day, no less.
Oof, that's rough.
Right. So he talks about her recovery process. It's been 3 months now, and she's actually getting back to her routine on May 11th.
Nice.
But what's really cool is that he goes beyond just the physical healing
Right.
and starts to think about all this stuff we can learn from these kind of like unexpected setbacks.
Mm.
And he keeps mentioning the metal pins in her knee, like literally,
Okay.
as a symbol of, resilience and stuff.
I see.
So we're going to try to unpack all that. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds good to me. I mean, it's amazing how, like, one little slip up, you know what I mean? Like, one wrong step
Yeah.
can totally throw you off for,
Yeah.
like, weeks or months or even longer, you know?
Yeah, totally. And he talks about that, right?
Yeah.
Like how this one event, this ACL tear,
Yeah.
just kind of took over their lives for a while.
Exactly.
And it makes you think about those times when something seemingly small
Right.
has had this like ripple effect in your own life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not what you expected at all.
Yeah.
But it turns into this whole big thing.
And it's tough, you know? Like, how do you deal with that?
Yeah. Well, one thing Pastor Jeong emphasizes is that they weren't alone in this. Like, their church community really stepped up.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, calls, meals, prayers, all that.
Wow.
It's a good reminder that, we're not meant to go through tough stuff alone.
Yeah, and it's not just like a feel-good thing either.
Right.
There's actually a ton of research that shows that having a strong support system can help people heal faster.
Oh, right.
Yeah, like for real, your body actually recovers better when you feel connected to others. Pretty cool, huh?
That is, yeah. But then Pastor Jeong takes things even deeper, right? He starts to wonder if scars like the one his wife has
Yeah.
are more than just like, a physical mark.
Right, right.
He went to this retreat led by Carol DeMonte,
Oh, yeah.
and he starts asking, what if scars are actually sacred?
Interesting.
Yeah, like what if they represent not just the pain, but also the strength of healing?
That's a pretty powerful way to look at it. Instead of seeing a scar as something negative, you see it as a sign of how strong you are, how much you've overcome. It's like in some cultures, they actually see scars as like badges of honor or something, you know?
Yeah, totally. And he even gets into those really big questions like,
Oh, yeah.
does life actually have meaning? Like, are we just going through the motions? He mentions this story about Craig Norris playing David Bowie's Life on Mars.
Oh, yeah. I love that song.
And he says that song, that melody just kind of brought up all these thoughts about, whether life is actually pointless or not. It's kind of heavy, but I think it's interesting that he's not afraid to bring up these hard questions. Like most people would just shy away from that kind of stuff.
Right.
But he's like, no, let's actually talk about this. And then he goes on to share this quote
Okay.
that I think is so important. He says, the past is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why we call it the present.
I love that.
Right. And he connects that to accepting our scars, saying that it's like a crucial part of living fully in the moment. What do you think? Like, why does music do that to us? Why does it make us think about the meaning of life?
Well, I think because music kind of cuts through all the clutter, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It just goes straight to your emotions and makes you feel things, think about things in a different way.
Yeah.
And it's cool that he links that to the idea of radical acceptance, which
Yeah.
is basically about, acknowledging everything that's happened to you, the good and the bad,
Okay.
but not letting it control you or define you. It's about being present, which you were saying.
Exactly. And he ends with this really powerful statement. He says that we are not defined by the wound, but by the healing.
Wow.
And not by the fall, but by the one who walks with us through it all. I mean, it's so profound. It's like our identity isn't found in the hard times, but in how we heal and how we're supported through them.
That actually reminds me of something. We
What?
as humans, we have this deep need to make sense of our experiences, right?
Yeah.
We're always trying to create stories out of what happens to us.
Mm-hmm.
And what Pastor John's doing here is he's offering a different kind of story, one where our scars and struggles, they become sources of strength and a way to connect with others instead of just weaknesses.
Yeah, I love that. So for everyone listening, what we really wanted to do today is to encourage you to think differently about your own scars, however they show up in your life.
Right.
Instead of seeing them as just reminders of pain or hardship, What if you started to see them as proof of how resilient you are, as a reminder of the healing you've gone through and the support you've had along the way?
Yeah. Yeah. Think about it this way. Is there a specific scar in your life, like a tough experience you went through, or maybe a really difficult time? What if there's some hidden strength in that experience, or some deeper meaning that you haven't really acknowledged yet?
Something to think about.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks for joining us today.
Ain't got it.